this set up. Okay, 1 second. Not very sure if that's going to work or not, but that's okay. Okay, sorry. All right, I believe I've got my internet figured out to where we shouldn't have interruptions like we were before. Yeah, I got an internet extender, but I don't think it's picking up on my Wi-Fi, but I just don't think it's going to pick up on the extender all the way out here. Oh, no, well, yeah, it kind of is, I think, so we'll see. Lighting a candle to have some fire going to keep the energy space clear. I haven't actually done that in a while, so. Okay, there we go. Oh well. It looks like it's connected really, really well, so not worried about it. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm just going to give a few moments for this to go live and for anyone that wants to tune in live to drop in. So for those of you watching on the replay, if you would like to fast forward it to when I actually do start, of course, you're more than welcome to do that, as always. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I would love to hear if you guys would like to drop in your name, where you're from, anything like that. I would love to hear from you. Again, just giving it a few minutes here to go live like usual. And if you're new, my name is Éoaccí and I welcome you. Got a candle burning here, but that breeze right there is pretty powerful. So I'm going to set it over here. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome. Again, if you're tuning in on the replay, you may fast forward it and just kind of place yourself in the position to receive the active part of the live if you would like. So welcome from India. So grateful to have you here. Welcome. Again, my name is Éoaccí, and just felt called to drop in and just speak into a few things, kind of what's moving through for me energetically, in hopes that if maybe someone else is moving through something similar, it will provide a point of reference for, I don't want to say it's not validation, but it is an opportunity to use that as a reflection. Everyone and everything in our reality is a mirror to us. Oh, I apologize. My internet seems to be kicking in and out. So I do hope the connection is okay. I just noticed that. So if there is any issue with being able to hear me or see me, please let me know. More importantly, hear me. If you're having any issues hearing me, please let me know. Because it looks like it just reset. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and drop in, just getting everything finalized here. And double checking the connection. Okay. It's probably about as good as it's going to get. So if the picture is not perfectly clear, just hang in there. I do hope, again, hope my voice is clear. So as I'm getting ready to step into and speak into what's happening energetically, I've had some really very powerful and very vivid dreams. I've also had some recognition of some things that are happening in the astral space. This is in connection with the dream space. And I'm also going to I'm feeling called to just express tones to open up and balance the chakras and just make sure that the energy is moving from the lower centers into the higher centers so that you have the opportunity. And it's not just because of what I'm doing. You are the creator, you're the one that's in control of how you feel and how you perceive. But what I'm hoping is by the guidance and the sounds and the vibration, you will be able to basically interlink yourself into the vibrational tones and allow them to assist you in supporting and opening your energy centers and harmonizing your energy bodies. So that's what we're going to be doing. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. So I don't know about you guys, but there's been a lot energetically that's been happening. For me, there's been a lot that's been happening because there's been a lot internally that I've been reviewing. And the biggest pattern of recognition that has been in motion for me is this perception around like owing someone something or someone owing me something. And that's been very, very present in my awareness. And it's this operating system, this pattern, this dynamic that's moving in my body. It's a program, because that's essentially what we run on when we're not awake. We are a programmed system of operations, like a computer. You breathe without thinking about it. Your heart beats without you having to do anything about it. And you have these beliefs, these actual conditional ways of believing, behaving, and acting that are operating without you being aware of them. And what I like to say, what I perceive as and understand is that when we are aware of something, we're operating from our God self. When we're not aware of it, we're asleep, but we're not unconscious. That's been another major realization for me is I no longer say that I'm unconscious. I'm unaware, but I'm not unconscious, because you can never be unconscious. Consciousness is an eternal state. Whether or not you're aware of it is a different matter. So when I became aware, to a deeper degree, that I was operating from a space, and I was also attempting to manifest, I want to say this really quickly, I was attempting to manifest a debt-free life where I have no debt, I've never had any debt, I am receiving a consistent state of abundance. But in order for my external and my internal to align, I have to be aware of any beliefs that could kick that external reality from coming in. And that was one of the biggest things that was showing itself to me. Hello and welcome. Was that even though I was declaring and I was I was commanding and I was affirming that I'm debt free and that I'm abundant, I was still operating from beliefs that actually thought that even though I may not owe someone something, they owe me something. And if I believe that someone owes me something, then that holds that image of that expectation, because I might not have a certain person in mind, but at some point in time, that person is going to cross my path. And whatever their image is, that projected belief is going to rest on them. Technically, it's not technically them, but I'm going to use that as a point of reference. So this version of them, this image of them that appears in my reality is reflecting back to me that set of beliefs that I believe that they owe me something, which means that that version of me, that moment where I have consistently believed that, it freezes me in time. I can't move. My 3D is not only not moving, but when it does appear to move, it's going to show me that I'm expecting to be owed, which means I'm operating from an agenda, which means that even when it comes to my own offerings, that's been another realization, is that why do we have to put a set price on our exchanges? I know people are going to say, well, because there's a certain value. You have to get what you're worth. And I get it. I've moved through that. But to me, where I'm at now, it also seems like, well, if I expect someone to pay me, then I expect them, it's almost like a force for them to meet me in that choice point, because then they think that the only way that they can exchange with me is through that specific amount, which there are lots of people that might not be able to meet that choice point at that amount. So it feels very much like owning, like owing feels like owning, like controlling. And so I've been moving through the process of letting that go and working fully on donation, which means that my private personalized sessions are shifting, and my group space sessions are shifting. So that's been a big thing. And it's kind of scary because it means that I don't know if people are going to pay me or not. I'm operating solely from service. And that's a big deal. That's a big leap. So how to defeat evil people. Evil people have a lot of energy when compared to normal people. How to defeat evil people. Okay, so I'm going to offer a pretty radical idea here. What if you choose not to believe that evil people exist? Because one of the biggest concepts of becoming more aware of yourself as God and the creator is that there is no external force that holds any power over you. But if you believe in good and you believe in evil, then you will only recognize that pattern. If you believe they exist, they exist. But I'm offering an option so that you do not have to remain held captive in a belief of evil. See, I don't believe in evil. I know that everyone serves a purpose. There is no such thing in my reality as good or bad. There is no such thing as evil because I choose not to separate myself from other people in that way. Everyone's serving a purpose. We're all here to learn. Now, if you believe in evil, you'll see evil. You'll be able to point out everything that you think is evil and wrong with that person. Why? Because you believe it. You cannot see anything in your external that you yourself have not chosen to believe. Our external is a mirror. It's not something separate from us. It is us. But that's kind of difficult for it, in conceptualization, in operating from it being an idea. It's kind of hard to land in that concept and that idea. So you transition into it by practicing to no longer believe in evil. But that has to be a choice. Most people are not going to choose that if they're truly stuck on believing that they need to defeat evil. But if you are trying to fight evil, how can you fight evil with the belief? Like, think about what fighting is. Think about what war is. Do you think war is good? Do you think fighting is good? So no, it would be an approach like, because they're evil, I need to defeat them. So that's evil begetting evil. That means a perception of evil can only see that evil needs to be destroyed, but there is nothing that is evil. So if you choose to believe it, that's all you'll see. But if you choose not to believe it, you will see it differently. Your eyes don't actually see reality, they project your beliefs, because when you go to look in the mirror, you see what you think you are. You don't see yourself for what you are, you see yourself for what you think you are. So if you want to see yourself differently, you start practicing speaking to yourself differently, feeling yourself differently, you process your emotions, and you understand why you think and believe that way. It's a good practice. It's something that I practice with everyone that I work with. Is like, okay, so why do you think that? Why do you believe that? Why do you choose to believe that? Because those are the basis, the conditions in which the rest of your life operates. So moving forward, you get to see it differently. You get to say, okay, anytime I choose to believe, thank you for that. I'm like Chat GPT. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Incorporating a new perspective allows you to see the world differently. It allows you to see your world differently because your world and your reality is perspective. Your consciousness, your state of consciousness is dependent upon the depth of your perception. So when you can start seeing deeper, you go higher in consciousness. Higher in consciousness isn't out there somewhere. It's not in the higher, it's not in heaven. It's not in some cosmic avatar. It's here right now. You can access higher dimensions. They're like bookshelves. You can access anything, but you have to change the way you think and believe, because if you don't, you're just operating in a set of loop conditions. And that's like what my title is mentioning, is patterns. Like for me, I had a pattern coming up around debt. It would be similar to believing in evil, because if I believe it, I'm going to see it. And that's why I've had opportunities to see debt in my reality recently, because I need to see it. I need to see that, hey, that's a belief I'm holding on to. And that belief is not going to allow me to experience peace and prosperity so long as I believe it. So if you want to see a world, like, I want to just offer you another scenario. most of the people would look at the world that we're in right now. I say that world we're in because we're technically not in a world, we're in a simulated dream, but they would look at the world and they would say that there is so much evil and there are so many bad things happening. There's wars, there's killings, there's child rapists, there's all these bad things that are happening, and they can name all the bad things that are happening because that's the lens they see the world through. Bad. This is bad, that's bad, this is negative, that person's bad, this, evil, all the things, right? That's one polarity. And then there's the other polarity of all the good things that are happening, all the people that show up and act as heroes or angels in disguise, or people that are helping children or saving animals, all that. You can see both sides of the coin. The master way is the neutral path, where you're able to see that events are taking place, but you do not choose to polarize into good or bad. You accept that everything happens intentionally and by design. And the only thing that you are here to do is to learn from what you choose to believe, which means nothing happens to you. There is actually no event, no situation. There is nothing that happens to you. There is nothing. So there is literally no physical subject matter, no person, no event that's actually coming at you and affecting you. It's your belief. Again, if you see evil, then you're going to believe that you cross paths with evil people because you choose to believe in evil. So therefore, you think you're seeing an evil person because you identify with those actions as evil. But what if they're not evil? What if you can't actually see, hear, or feel what another person's thinking, feeling, or doing? You're in your own dream, your universe, your world. Nobody else is there. It's just you. So this means that you only see in others what you fail to see in yourself because you project it. You aim it at them. It's like pulling a bow and arrow and letting it go and saying, oh, that's you. It's not me. It's the ultimate form of separation. But we are each all God. We're each all source. We're not separate from God or source. There is no external God. There's no external source that's controlling your universe or your world or your life. It is all you. But what a refreshing thought that is, because that means that you're the one that's in control, which means you can change anything. If you want to experience a different reality, if you want to experience yourself in a greater state of peace and prosperity, you have the option to do that. There is no one else that's going to come in and change it for you. Even those that I work with personally, I don't do anything for them. I'm a mirror to remind them of what's possible. That's it. This is what I do for a living. I support and assist others. I am forever in service. So I share my wisdom. I share my offerings. I do have tarot cards. I don't technically do that anymore. I haven't really offered that in a while, but I guess I could start bringing some tarot cards in here sometimes and drawing a few cards and reflecting. And I want to say the reason I want to just share really quickly, why, because I feel like that is something that's a very interesting, a very interesting interaction. So tarot should be a very personal experience, I feel. So I feel that each person, if they're interested in interacting with tarot, should get their own tarot deck. I feel like you should give yourself permission to realize that everything is you in your dream, and whatever that you need to receive back will always come back. But you also don't need tarot cards for that. It's available to you every day. It's all around you. Anything that you need to know right now is already available to you. It's just knowing how to perceive it. It's knowing how to view it. And I can tell you right now, it's not with your eyes open. It's with your eyes closed. That's how you observe reality. That's the observer effect. Now, obviously, if the observer effect with your eyes open still applies, especially if you focus your intention long enough, you become entangled in that object or subject of your focus, and energetically you interlink and you exchange data and information. But that's an entanglement with the energetic bodies of your reality. Internally, that's where you begin the process of understanding who you are. We're all here for one reason, to know thyself. And none of us know who we really are. We're so desperately searching. We need someone to tell us what comes next. We need someone to tell us, am I going to be okay? We need someone to be right there for us, to give us emotional support. We feel like if we don't have a connection to people, then we don't have anything. And at the same time, we fear true connection to people. So we're always living in a state of polar opposites, fear and then expectation. Because we're so afraid to get close. We're afraid that bad really does exist. Because we see it through a lens of conditions. But what if you didn't see life through all those conditions? What if they just fell away? What if you just began to detach and experience life for the abundance that it is? That's how I choose to live. Instead of seeing what's wrong or trying to discover what's right or trying to find a fine line in the middle between, do I do this or do I do this? What if I make that choice? What if that choice is bad? What if something bad happens? That's how I used to live. I was so afraid of a choice, as if the choice could hurt me, as if my power didn't exist, as if the event was what consumed my power. But that was never true. Every choice you make is sacred. Every experience you hold is sacred. You are God. You can do no wrong. You don't need to be forgiven, nor do you need to heal. You are already whole and complete. Your entire journey is to remember that. In every moment, you unbox it like a child at Christmas. If you remember that feeling, and maybe you didn't have that feeling. Maybe you are here to rediscover what that feeling is, where every moment is a gift, as it is. And I don't just say that, it's not just some like blasé woo-woo shit. I'm not saying it like that. Seriously, if you approach every moment as a gift and you ask yourself, okay, so what's here for me? What am I here to learn? What is this showing me about myself? You will stop defining yourself as not worthy. You'll stop defining yourself. Thank you. You'll stop defining yourself by what other people say to you. Because instead of looking around and wanting other people to, I don't know, comfort you, tell you how good you are, tell you how beautiful you are, tell you how handsome you are, you just start turning inward and you say, no, I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am worthy. But you don't do it defiantly. You just do it from a space of, you already know these things. Of course you are. Of course you're perfect. How could you be anything but perfect? You're God, and God is perfect. And we are all God. We're all of the same fabric, which means that there's no evil, just like there's no good. There's no bad. From a pure state of consciousness, consciousness recognizes that everything just is. It doesn't polarize, and it doesn't do it. It always will come in from a state of dualism. Every coin has two sides. There is a positive, there is a negative. But even within positive and negative, that doesn't mean good or bad. Just like masculine and feminine does not mean male or female. But we have a lot of confusion in the collective around that right now, because there are ideologies that breed from a space of recognizing the physical body as being male or female or non-binary. Well, your body is what your body is. It's either male or female. It really is. But that doesn't mean you have to identify with it. As a matter of fact, the best thing that we get to do is to let go of the identification completely, where we just are. We're a human. That's what we are. But I am a woman. I am a woman, but that doesn't mean I operate solely from feminine energy. It means that masculine, I project my reality. That's my masculine. I receive my reality. That's my feminine. Masculine and feminine are always intertwining in a beautiful dance of creation. It's all internal. Your projector line and your receiver line is always working. Whatever you believe you are, you project. Whatever you believe you are, you receive. And that's why nothing is outside of you. Nothing. Everyone you cross paths with, you project onto them or you accept them. Thank you. This is from a lot of inner reflection, inner dialogue. That's why I will always say that even though I work with others and I do this, I guess you could say, as work, I don't sell it as a course. I share it as a wisdom, which means that I'm self-taught. I didn't take a course. So, you know, being able to teach yourself, being able to explore within yourself is the greatest gift you can give yourself, because then nobody can control you. Comments that come in an attempt to attack don't imbalance you, because every person, if you consistently live your life around choosing to believe what everyone tells you, then you're never going to think for yourself. You're always going to operate from a space of, somebody thinks that I'm this or somebody thinks that I'm that. And that's going to be your life. Your life is going to be a byproduct of the conditions that you have actually chosen to believe. And that's what they really are, essentially. So are you what other people tell you you are? Or are you what you tell yourself you are? I know I'm perfect. I know I'm amazing. And I don't say that with anything other than humility. If someone doesn't like being here, they don't have to be here. That's your choice. My life is not controlled by what other people think or believe. My life is in my control because of what I choose to believe, what I choose to think. And I understand that people are going to cross my path and they're going to have their own opinions and they're going to project it. And that's okay. But that's on them. That's their weight to carry. It's not mine. So as you move through this process of understanding wisdom is not information. It's self-taught, self-teaching, where you learn from yourself. And when you learn from yourself, there's a whole different dynamic to that. Because then everything external to you, you don't need it, but you can receive it as a mirror. I'm not a guru. No, I'm just offering from my own experiences. I just share for those that are open to receiving, and if they are, great. If they're not, great. I'm just here to share. But everything I do hope can go towards self-help, because it's all coming from self-learning and self-wisdom. So, in this process of experiencing the self, it's learning who we are. And I feel like until everyone takes an opportunity to dial into themselves and ask themselves questions about themselves, everyone will be consistently operating from a set of conditions, because you, at some point in your life, from a child, from past lives, all of these different experiences, you're an operating system based on what other people have said, until your consciousness comes online from a space of recognizing itself as the creator, which means that just because everyone else is doing that doesn't mean you have to. Just because you hear things going on in the government and religion and friendship circles and schools, you don't want to be defiant about it, but you do want to ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with teaching yourself. And there's nothing wrong with tuning in and discovering who you are, because that's why you're here anyways. You're here to learn who you are and to ask questions about yourself. Because if not, everyone's existing from a dysregulated nervous system, which means you're going to have emotional chaos. You're going to have depression. You're going to have a lack of sleep. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel claustrophobic connecting with people, or maybe overwhelmed connecting with people. There's going to be all these different signs and symptoms of a suppressed emotional state, because most people think that they feel, but they're not really feeling. They think because they have heightened emotions that they're feeling. There is a different state to feeling something consciously than to being overwhelmed by it through unawareness. And unawareness shows up in a dysregulated nervous system, where all the beliefs, all the thoughts, all the behaviors, they're suppressed and you're not aware of them. And so therefore you seek it from another person. You seek it in a relationship. You seek it in a friendship. You seek it in a partner. You're consistently seeking for someone to show up and be there for you and support you. And that does not necessarily, by what I'm speaking into, it doesn't take away the prospect of having a partner, but it allows you to enter into a healthy relationship with a partner, because a partner is a mirror of you. That's what a partner is always. Everyone is a mirror of you. And if you are not aware of yourself, that mirror is always going to reflect back everything that you have not been aware of. All the belief systems, you know, all the things that you grew up believing that you have not even visited. And not even that. Most people think that their past, their memories control them. But your memories are opportunities. If you lived a situation and it comes up and it creates anxiety in your body, live it differently. There is a 6-hour window around the memory where it's charged. And in that moment, as soon as that memory comes into your awareness, if you feel a certain way about it, say, okay, this is allowing me to experience a different reality. All I need to do is to tune into the memory, and I need to recreate it. But you have to do it by dropping into your nervous system. You can't just talk about it. You have to be about it. So you have even control, because your past happened in the present moment, just like your future happens in the present moment. So you can change any memory. You'll have to be a little bit more clear about the school bunking. Can you clarify that for me? This is just what I've learned from my own experiences. I'm just speaking, I just allow my own, it's just my own, I'm just reflecting from my own experiences. I literally learned it from myself. I choose to be consciously aware of everything, which means that I access my all-knowing self. At least I choose to do that as often as possible. Doesn't mean I don't access, loops and behavioral patterns that are, I've done that. I do that still sometimes, where I'm aware of myself and I still don't choose differently. Just like the other day, I was in a conversation with my mom and I was very reactive, not angry reactive, but reactivity has a multitude of layers. I was responding without being present, which means it was just a response. I was agitated. I was not wanting to be asked questions. I was just wanting to end the conversation. I was aware that I was doing it, but I didn't choose anything differently, which means it's reactivity. My nervous system in that moment felt like it was being controlled by the question. And so I just wanted to stop talking. I didn't want to be asked any more questions. So, hello, welcome from Ireland. Thank you. You're beautiful. So I didn't want to be asked any more questions. So reactivity is an automatic response to shut down the situation. But what really happens is it shuts down the nervous system. Hello, welcome from New York. I'm great. I hope you're good too. When you shut down your nervous system, when you don't process, when you're not present, which means that if you're aware of your actions and you don't choose to process, it's going to come back up. You're going to feel it. You're going to experience it as overwhelm, emotional instability, sickness, disease, because these things don't really exist. We don't really have diseases, you guys. They're really, if we just look at COVID was a fear tactic, okay? If you lived in the mountains, not necessarily away from people, but if you never knew that there was such thing as a disease, do you think you get sick? People, diseases thrive off fear. Fear is what breaks the body down. It destroys the nervous system because the nervous system is overloaded. Yeah, and again, and everything that's in the mind is actually processed through the nervous system. And so in a moment, if we're not aware of our actions, we fall sick because we're not aware of the data streaming through the nervous system. And every single moment you have an opportunity to change how you perceive, how you believe, how you feel, how you act. I have not been sick in years. I have not seen a doctor. I feel great. The one and only thing that has been left in my system that's still processing out by me controlling how I feel is my hormonal. I have these activated points in my genome which is telling me that I'm supposed to have a migraine around my hormonal cycle. But that's a condition that I don't choose to accept. It's a condition that I agree to upon incarnation as an experience of time and space. But you see, time and space don't happen the way that we think they do. Time and space is perception. Okay, you see a depth based on what you project. If you're not aware of yourself here, you're not going to be aware of the depth out there, right? Thank you so much. So when you ask about what about people feeling we are sick? You might have to clarify that a little bit. What about people feel we are sick? Well, first let me just remove that one part. What about people? Let's take people out of it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It never matters about anyone else. First and foremost, begin with that. Just like that interaction I was having with my mom when I was aware that I was reactive, but I wasn't changing it. It wasn't because of her. It wasn't because she was asking questions. It was because the belief in my nervous system that I had accepted early on in my childhood says to me, that inner voice says, I don't like this and I don't want to experience it. And because I don't like it and I don't want to experience it, I need you to stop talking. And so my reactivity attempts to shut down whoever's talking because I don't feel comfortable. That's the ego. That's the way the dynamic of the ego operates. It's always trying to keep you safe. But the only thing the ego ever thinks about is itself because it's operating as a radar. Good or bad, right or wrong. Is this acceptable? Is it not acceptable? It holds the nervous system in its state of unawareness. That's how we all exist until we become aware of ourselves as a creator. Ego is identity, how you identify. How you identify with the situation determines how you respond or react to the situation. It is never about the other person. It is always about you because your nervous system only recognizes you. You only feel yourself. You are in your dream. Vibrationally, right now, we are interlocked through a connection point. It's an agreement. You're focusing your intention and energy here in this dialogue. And so we get to exchange vibrationally. But what you receive back determines what you believe. It's not necessarily what I say, it's what you think about what I say. So, but with that is also wisdom from my own experiences that's translated through the agreement. So this means that you do have an opportunity to receive beyond the belief if you give yourself permission. So every exchange that you have here now, your family, your friends, it's all you. So just simply remember to be aware of yourself. Sickness and disease, inherited genome connect, like what your genes are telling you you are is not what you are. It's what you identify with. Okay? So if you would like to feel differently in your body, you start showing up and connecting to your body because you don't actually live in your body. Programs are running your body. As the creator consciously enters the body and consciously breathes into the body and consciously redirects the creation of the body. And therefore, you're either operating from a state of conditioned beliefs, your nervous system is reactive and in a state of conditioned fear, which breeds the belief or extends from the belief in sickness, because if you're operating through fear, then of course you're going to experience sickness. Sickness, nobody wants to get sick. Sickness is a byproduct of a system of beliefs that actually thinks something bad can happen. I don't operate from bad things happening. I see everything as a gift. And you know, and the way I look at it, just the way other people choose to believe, the way other people choose to feel. I used to judge other people that couldn't see the way that I could see. I would feel so aggravated, like how can people not see that they have the power to change? That why is nobody choosing to just stop and think for themselves, why are people investing so much money in these retreats and these courses and these like miracle course? I don't know. I guess they think it's a miracle. I don't know. But like, and I've done that. I've co-facilitated with some really powerful channelers and, that are very well known. And I did it because I believed I was serving. I did it because at the time I was in that identity of self. I was very much caught up in, Ra and Isis and all these different beliefs. And the spiritual collective was very, very, very absorbed in that. There's a lot of money in that. I made the most money that year than I've ever made. Since then, I barely make anything because I let go of following the herd. I let go of following the spiritual collective. I started choosing to honor myself as a creator, which means that not just a creator, but the creator. All of us are the creator and a creator, which means that you're the ultimate, the supreme, you exist as nothing but, and you have a unique expression of that nobody else has. And that's why I share my own experiences, as it might be similar to what someone else says, but it will never sound exactly the same because my tone, my voice carries my specific pattern. My wisdom is my learned experiences, my truth. So, it wasn't easy stepping away because I knew that most people probably wouldn't listen. There wouldn't be much money. And, it was easy and it wasn't easy at the same time. And I didn't go to the big retreats at like Shasta and stuff like that. I was supposed to go facilitate one of those last year. And I just said, no, I'm not, not doing it. And the feedback I got was very polarized. There are those that just thought the miracles happened, which of course is up here. If you think that something happens in a certain space, just because of what you did, that's ego. I mean, the other side of that is that because you exist, everything is perfect already. Because you're present, everything is perfect and miracles are already happening. But to perceive that just because you're in a location and just because of that specific location and just because of the people present, that it was powerful, that's an egoic perception. That's savior complex. Like, because of us, it was magical, right? And I get it. I've played that role. And it's very seductive. But the truth is that, and the other side of that was people literally just like left the spiritual community altogether because they saw the ego taking place. So either way it goes, even when it comes to spirituality, spiritual community, the things that you have not internally recognized will always exist external from you. And you cannot recognize anything external from you if it does not exist within you. I know that was ego because I was heavy in it. I'm always like, we don't kill ego. Like, I love ego. You know why? Because ego is my most powerful teacher. Ego teaches me every single day, and I am humbled by it. So we don't kill ego. You don't want to get rid of ego. You don't need to be afraid that you're operating from ego. See ego as your most powerful teacher and your gateway to mastery, because it is. It's been my gateway to mastery. Accepting that I was operating in it, being willing to speak about it, and then sharing the wisdom that comes from it. And 9 times out of 10, the majority of people that I communicated with post like stepping away, almost everyone on this path, almost everyone in the spiritual community still thinks that they're not doing, that they're healed or they're not operating from ego. But, we couldn't be in this material. We couldn't be experiencing this material plane without ego, honestly. Your connection to your family is ego. Your connection to your friends is ego. Your connection to your partner is ego. It's all ego. Because sorry, I got to get this lipstick off, you guys. It's like bugging me. Your family, you chose your family because your family offers you the most powerful lesson group that you'll experience. And if you don't spend a lot of time close to your family, start doing so, and you'll see why I'm saying that. Because the behaviors, everything that is conditioned in your nervous system and everything that's conditioned in your blood, it's from your family group. Your family group, think of your family group as a set of conditions, and you have inherited those conditions. You chose to inherit those conditions as a part of your life path to determine the soul growth. The soul grows through lessons. It's not just love and light, and yet it is. It is. So when you begin to recognize that your ego is your teacher, that everyone that's closest to you is your karmic mirror, then you start to process things differently. You don't have to inherit the conditions of your bloodline. You get to learn from them. The people that you're most comfortable with are also the people that are not going to allow you to grow. You should be challenged. You should have people that think differently around you at all times because it's challenging you to see how you react. It's not about actually like having to think like them. It's about allowing yourself to simply just receive what someone else says without being reactive. Can you just listen to someone that has a completely different view of the world and say, I hear you? That's interesting. I hear you. Can you really sit in presence with them and hear them without objectivity and without reactivity? Because that's a gift. It's also the gift of a mastery that holds itself in presence and awareness without reactivity. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I am sure that that is a very beautiful experience as well. So that's wonderful. So if you're not willing to challenge yourself, then you're not going to be willing to change yourself. And with as many people as I've interacted with, and it hasn't been like, I guess, there's millions more out there, but when it comes down to it, most people want to run away. They don't want to go deeper. When they feel challenged, and again, people feel challenged because they think a challenge is present, because they think something is coming at them instead of receiving and reflecting, because reception and reflection is a co-creative experience. That's how I operate. I invite in and I remind that you're the one that's in the empowerment of what you receive. But a lot of times, because it is a direct reflection, most people don't want a direct reflection. Most people do not want to receive, to go deeper. They're just like, no, I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. I'm healed. I'm doing the work. But to go deeper, there's one of my beautiful Soul Pod members. Hello, Becca. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so grateful that I have each of you here to co-create with, by the way, in this space right now. So thank you all for being here. So, but most people don't want to go deeper. And Becca's been with me for some time in exchanging and mirroring. And when you're faced directly with your reflection, the things that you don't like to hear because you have identified with them in a certain way, the things that you don't like to see because you've always run away from them, the things about you that you consistently try to hide and keep in the shadow because you're afraid that you're going to be scolded or you're afraid that something bad's going to happen. Those things, they're meant to be seen, because if not, again, dysregulated nervous system, sickness, these things only happen because you're not aware of what's happening. And what's really happening is the pattern in here. It's not the event. It's not the person. That's never what happens. It can't be, because nothing happens to us. So if every moment is unboxed like a gift, like a present, then we remember that it's happening through us. What is the pattern? And I would invite you to practice this, you guys, if you're really interested in going deeper. Practice it daily. Allow the pattern, allow you to repattern and reparent yourself. Because if you don't reparent yourself, if you don't reteach yourself, you're just going to be a byproduct of all the conditions that you've accepted along the way. You're going to be a byproduct of a system that is unaware of itself. You're going to be a byproduct of things that happen to you, which means that you're always going to be expecting something to happen, which means that you live in expectation, which is a past and future frozen condition, and you never actually move. Movement isn't physical, it's atomic, and it's happening so suddenly that by the time you do experience it, every moment in between is a gift for you to recognize any lingering behaviors, anything that could prevent that combustion and that new reality from showing up. You're going to be shown in every moment anything that you need to see within yourself that could otherwise prevent you from stepping into the full experience of yourself. So you get to approach every person, every conversation, every situation from the space of, it's not really happening out there, it's happening in here. And if you're not aware of what's happening in here, then like I said, it's always going to be happening. So tune into your body, tune into your senses, start feeling. And I mean really feeling. Feeling is not an emotion. Emotion is an identity. Feeling is awareness. That's feeling. So I would invite that in for everyone. All right, you guys. So if you would like, I can keep expressing. I can keep sharing. If you guys are enjoying this, I can keep doing that. I was going to do some tones and some movement of energy, but just let me know where you guys are at and we'll move from there. Okay, I can go ahead and step into the tones and begin the clearing. And I would like to share a few things before we go into that, just to have an awareness of the process. Well, that's good. Remember, you're always in control. You're always in control. So always keep yourself in that space of, I have control. I can change anything. I am the creator. I have the power. And, you know, a lot of times, especially when you're faced with recognizing your patterns, you're not going to want to be the creator because it means you actually have to change something. But it's either that or consistently live as a byproduct of things happening to you and you're always a victim. And I don't think anyone enjoys being the victim. I mean, I didn't. So, but at the same time, it was a powerful tool. It taught me a lot of things because you can't, if you're a victim, you're also a perpetrator, which means you might be the victim in your mind, but in the conditions of your reality, you're so controlling. You're so overpowering. You need things to look and feel a certain way, or else it creates upheaval within you because you feel out of control. Why do you think you feel out of control? Because you've yet to recognize that you're the only one in control. Not by controlling others. Hello and welcome. Not by controlling others, because you never have control in that way. But by controlling how you feel, by controlling what you think, by being the active awareness that's always in control and aware of its experience. So, okay, my loves, I am going to go ahead and start moving into the activated clearing. I'm just going to put my phone do not disturb really quickly. And again, thank you all for hanging in here and having some new viewers this first time, having some really beautiful exchanges, and I'm really grateful for that. I really appreciate you guys hanging in here and receiving and just being amazing in that regard, and choosing to co-create and co-weave with me in the chat. I really appreciate it. So I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and take a deep breath. Speaking of tuning into the nervous system in the body, let's just go ahead and practice that. So go ahead and close your eyes. Turn your attention into yourself and away from the external. And in order for this to expand with even greater clarity, I'm just going to invite each of you to please internally declare that you accept and that you receive. You can just say, I accept, I receive. I accept, I allow. And that will allow the guidance and the exchange to happen with even greater clarity. And I would like for you to start dialing into your sensory perception. If you have something nearby, I would like for you to put your hand on it, to touch it. You might have to open your eyes for a second. I apologize. Put your feet on the ground. Put your feet on the ground. There we go. Put your feet on the ground. Take your shoes off. Place your feet on the floor. Allow your skin to touch something. You can even touch your leg. Just becoming aware of this fact that you're touching your leg. You want to bring awareness to your senses. And with your feet on the ground, just become aware of what that sensation is. And feel your energy through your awareness pulling into your feet. Recognizing how your energy is coming into that area. And just simply through your awareness, you can proclaim, I am grounded, and all energy will align because you are the conscious creator. So I am grounded, I am anchored. And through your awareness, allowing yourself to perceive the vibration at your feet. And taking in a few deep breaths. With each breath, becoming more aware of your body. Remembering that your body is a set of operating systems. It is only until you consciously dial in with your awareness that your body becomes aware of itself. And just releasing any tension, relaxing your eyebrows, relaxing your shoulders, and grounding deeper into your space. And as I move through and I express the frequencies, as I express the sounds, I would invite you, as you hear the sounds, to feel yourself interlinking with the sound. You can practice it now with the crystal. Use what you're hearing as a gateway to enter into the sensation. Or if your senses are already heightened, you might become aware of the sensation before you even hear it. And just become aware of the sensations. And as I move through these frequency sounds, allow whatever comes to the surface to come, to be witnessed, to be recognized. But remember, I'm not doing anything for you. I am simply providing a sound like the crystal. What comes from that is under your active awareness. It's your responsibility. I've been very, very aware of some energy lingering in the astral. And so we're simply just coming into a space of clearing and opening that. Clearing any blockages, just opening the space. The most potent receiver of this is your awareness. Oh, Janine, I love you. So happy to see you. I'm so grateful you and Becca are here. Thank you, beautiful. And just being aware of the sensations in your body upon hearing and feeling and receiving the frequency. What's coming forward? What's moving? What's opening? What I noticed in the astral was very interesting. My dream state, my astral, been very so hyper vivid recently. Well, more often than recently, but it's been very active. And I wanted to bring into your awareness that what happens is in the astral, and I know many people believe they have astral attacks and these things that are happening. When you carry an internal vibration of acceptance and peace, you enter into the astral, and it's basically like a foundation of clearing. This is what I experienced last night. Every encounter that I had in the astral was heavy, but the inner space of myself was so calm. It was present, it was aware, it was peaceful, and every event that played out neutralized. Every event neutralized, because every single time I entered that space with just acceptance, like I am here with you right now. So first and foremost, just as nothing happens to you in the physical, nothing happens to you in the astral. It is a space of experience. It is where beliefs and emotional charges are held. So you will move there to review any emotional charge that you may have. If you hold fear, if you hold beliefs in evil, You will experience that through the astral coming back to you because it is your school of learning. Remember, neutrality is your gateway. Just neutral acceptance. Allow it to clear the space. A lot of heart activity. Whoo. If you feel increased palpitations in your heart, it's just vibrationally harmonizing and expanding. I can feel it. The heart space is expanding a lot. And then just moving, want to be sure the movement in the lower, yeah, whew, massive heart. How is everyone feeling in their lower dantian and their root, sacral, and solar plexus? Is this feeling pretty open for everyone? I am gonna, I was called to the liver last night. That's right, the liver showed up. Okay, there we go. Whoo. A lot opening. A lot opening. Whew, that's intense. There's a lot. Ooh. Seem to be a lot carried there. So good to hear. So good to hear you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I had this. So just to kind of offer as we're moving through this clearing here, I want to offer a little bit of a personal experience during this. Just keep your eyes closed and just continue receiving. I had this opportunity to visit with something being wrong last night. I had a sensation on that left side, and I recognized it as a nodule, a node. And immediately, it was like, oh, what's wrong? Why am I feeling it? Why am I feeling that they're on that left side? What's on the left side? What's happened? Immediately, again, that's the program, that's the ego. What's wrong? You need to define it. You need to identify it. And so I tuned in, and instead of identifying, I listened. What is there? What is there? What is trying to get my attention? And I did a body scan. I allowed it to reveal itself. And there was still some sensations there of unworthiness and aggression and anger and agitation in the liver. And I was able to visit with that in the astral. And that visitation proved so fruitful to reveal to me through experiential opportunities what emotions I had not processed. And today's live has actually been a revelation or a practice in implementing a different approach to self. And now I would like for you to bring your attention to your third eye. I would like for you to just imagine or sense that there is a gentle flame in your third eye. There is a light. Just focusing your attention there, holding the space of the light in your awareness. And as these frequencies pass through, oh, there's that sensation in my left. As these frequencies pass through, we're going to be just opening the space, opening the clarity of the senses and the self-awareness to see more clearly. Okay. So just keeping your awareness on the flame and allowing the flame and the frequencies to dissolve any perceptions that may be held in illusion. Those perceptions of self that say I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I could never do this, it's just impossible. All those things, let them dissolve, okay? And just take a deep breath. And let it dissolve. Oh, I feel so much energy running down the shoulders and into the spine. I'm hoping that this might open up some space if maybe you guys were holding some stress in the shoulders like I do. Yeah, there we go. It's lifting. And there comes the suction. And release. How is everyone feeling? The space feels very open, very expanded. It also feels very grounded and very anchored. The nervous system feels very calm, very balanced. root, sacral, solar plexus, all through the crown is open. Yes, does feel very good. Very relaxed, very soft, very peaceful. Does anyone have anything that's still coming forward that they would like for me to address? I'd be more than happy to focus energy there to work through the clearing. Thank you so much, Janine. So grateful to each of you for being so grateful to everyone. I just personally connected to Becca and Janine. So, and please check out check out Janine's her YouTube. Check out Janine's YouTube. She has a beautiful YouTube, and we just did an interview together. If you guys would like to tune in, as well as she has some amazing podcast interviews. So please check out Janine's page. She's in the comments section here, if you guys feel so called. So please tune in. She's got some amazing interviews. She's got some amazing offerings on there. So you're so welcome. Your throat feels tight. You feel like something's stuck there? Okay. Yep. And also too, Becca, that's from not speaking your truth. And this is something I know you dropped in. I'm going to be tuning in shortly, but you expressed where your truth comes from a space of a need to control, or fear of expression. That's what's there. It's still holding you. It's still blocking you right here because you have a fear of expressing. So what you get to do to open that up further is to do some of your own vocalization to open and clear the space, but also to practice speaking, practice expressing. It's your most vital tool as a creator is to communicate. Okay, so always practicing that, as you know. So you guys, if you enjoyed this, I will definitely be doing so many more of these. I've just decided to open my space up, just to come back in and do this for fun, just to offer, to drop in what's happening. Before there was an agenda. I get that, like an expectation that people would show up and do things and join a session or book with me. And I do have my space open, but where it is at now is that obviously if you do want to work with me personally, I have a tiered exchange. But I'm actually going to, I want to let everyone know that tiered exchange is simply an option. Okay. It's not an expectation, which means that if you would like to connect, it is your choice if you would like to donate, and it is your choice if you would like to pay for the exchange. If you choose and honor the exchange in that way, because everything is karmic, so everything is cleared and energetically supported based on the version of you that shows up. But anything else is, shall we say, goes towards karmic abundance if you offer, but you never have to. An abundance, shall we say, an abundance of like, thank you, I'm grateful, that type of thing. But it can also be from a free space, a neutral space of I am grateful, but I can't right now, but maybe later. And that's also what I find to be very beautiful, is that that karmic exchange always comes back around. So if you would like to work with me personally, I will have information in the description where you could do a one-on-one with me. I also have a group space for deeper mentorship, where everything I spoke about today, and understanding the behaviors and understanding yourself, that's what we do there. Okay, it's a day-to-day practice of remembering who you are. That's it's, and I do it with everyone. I don't just teach. It's not teaching. It's coming together and sharing. And I share my journey. I share what I've learned from an experience. I'm like, oh, okay, so this happened and I had this going on internally and this is what I was able to understand. And we all come together and share in that way. But I also have another opportunity coming up the first week of next month. And this is where, for anyone that would like to exchange with me in that way for a week, it's free. You get to show up and just join me. It's going to be a very small space where I only have a handful, just so that I can give, attention to everyone independently. It's going to be a small group. So if you would like to dedicate yourself for a week of truly practicing like these processes of integrating self-mastery, being present in your body, learning how to listen and to truly feel, learning how to repattern your nervous system, you're more than welcome to join. And I will have all the information in the description of how you can reach me. I would love to have you guys join me on that. Again, it's free, it's just a week. And if you want to continue that afterwards, you're more than welcome to. And you can join into the group space, or we could do something privately. But so just letting you all know, I hope you enjoyed this. For those of you that are first timers, I do hope to see you back here again. Janine, Becca, thank you both so much for being here. And I do hope you guys will check out her YouTube as well. So thank you all. I love you so much. And I do hope to see some of you again. Okay. Actually, I hope to see all of you again. I hope to see some of you in the week-long expedition. Okay. I love you. Adonai. Thank you, Janine.